returns this dot includes item. So we were returning back the. Okay, we're returning back the list that contains the item that we're looking at. So where's item coming from? So that's on refresh. Make item list. And so if this includes null, push null, that makes no sense. Okay, this data. But this is all items dot filter function item. This dot includes item. Create contents. So that's a window-based thing. So contents equals new bitmap. Okay, so you can call create contents instead of calling contents.clear. Then draw all items. So index, data index, item. Draw a name, draw a number. So this is where things are not showing up correctly because we're using a different thing on this. So draw item name isn't here. Okay, so we're actually passing it over here. So item XY width. If item is instance of game, instance weapon, draw icon, item dot underscore icon x, draw text, item dot underscore name, else, do those. So that's interesting. There's nothing showing up here. And then draw item number. Which should still show 1. So I do also have it over here. So 104 and this stuff up here. So let's go ahead and put some breakpoints there and see what's actually going on in these functions. So that's setting up the initial window. This part. Actually, no, so it's not calling that for this list down here. That's interesting. Alright, so let's go back to the window. So, window item list. So 1985. I'm not seeing any other weapons either, just whatever that is. And so now we don't have anything here, except for that blank one. Alright, let's go ahead and restart. Alright, so what is item? Item is basic iron sword, which actually should be game instance item now. Delete all. So item is an object. Okay, that's interesting. So it is an object right now. But after they're added, they should become not objects. Unless it's pulling it from somewhere else. Oh, the initial equips. That's right, the initial equips. We need to figure out where the initial equips are at and make that so that for weapons it turns them into game instance weapons. So initial equips. It's on objects, I think. So there we go, game actor setup. Initial equips. Okay, here we go. Alright, so we're getting the equips. Slots.this equip slots. Slots.length equips. If less than that. So let's go to what oh, we have it here now. So if we save it and then we can just go over here and see what we're actually getting. I think it's going to be a list of game objects. Well, game items, but objects. And I think that we'll be able to pull the EID out of there to see what the ID is. So we gotta refresh this first. And then go to here and here. So actually no, it's just 1, 1, 2, 3, 0. So those are the IDs for the various initial equipments. So weapon 1, shield 1, armor 2, headgear 3, and then no accessory. Or something to that effect. So, let's see, this dot equip slots, max slots.length equips. We are then initializing them all to game item. So, well, it doesn't matter. We can overwrite the game item as long as we don't save it directly. Then again for equips.length, max slots, set equip. So we want to look at set equip. I don't think we need to alias this. Or not alias, overwrite. We have to overwrite the set equip, I think. Then get on the right bloody line here. Set equip. So we have the classes, a weapon or armor, and the item data ID. And that's all game item is, it's just that. So, they don't consider if it's a dual equip weapon, so at least not here on this particular one. Maybe when you're going to equip other things, it does, but not here, so we don't have to worry about that here. What we do need to worry about is if the, if we're on slot 1, or in this case 0. So, we do actually want to, it is this one we want to alias. So if J is less than max slots, if J equals 0, then we're going to do something else. Do this. This dot underscore equips J dot equals, so and I believe that it's the constructor we pass things through to, and that'll kick off all this stuff. Or, well, yeah, but we have to pass through, we have to pass through the weapon type, the slot ID, and the instance. Is be wep instance. So wep will be the ID, or well, wep will be the actual data weapon object. Wep type will be the type of weapon, so usually always 1. Or no, the weapon type, which is the, okay, and then slot ID where it's equipped, and then false for that. So what we'll need to do is to first, we'll need to get the, so var data weapon equals data weapon slots J. So slots, equip slots dot length. Equips. So here's what's interesting. We're passing through equips. And then, oh, underscore equips, gotcha. So equips.length. So we're going through the equipment now, so, yeah, it would be J. So that'll pull out the weapon that we have selected for the first element. The first element is always going to be a weapon. Then we need to then process that into here. So first we need to pass through the data weapon. Then the weapon type, so data weapon dot equipment item type. Well, we're broken here, so actually we can go ahead and check that. So, W type ID. That's what I want, W type ID. Weapon type ID. Get a weapon, W type ID. Then we want to pass through the slot ID. So the slot ID is J as well. Slots, yeah. And then false, because this is not an instance weapon, it's a data weapon. So that'll set that initial equip for weapon to a game instance weapon. Now let's see if it actually works or not. Or if it causes a huge, massive explosion of code. Alright, so go ahead and go to that. Data weapon is not defined. Because it's data weapons. Durr. And hopefully they're defined at this point. I mean, they should be. W type ID of no. Well, no, actually, no, it's not. This is what I don't get. Stuff gets called when it shouldn't be called. This stuff shouldn't get called when you're loading up this window. I mean, why the hell is it generating initial equips for when we're not even creating? We haven't even started a new game yet. There's just some really logical issues with how stuff is run that just irks me about this. Now, somebody from Innerbrain or whoever the hell is working on RPG Maker now would like to email me and explain why things have to load like this before you even start a new game. Then maybe I will entertain that they're not pretenders that think they know how to code and don't. Where the hell were we at? Yeah. So I guess we have to do a check to make sure that there's actually a value here. So if if data weapon is not null, then do your stuff. Otherwise, don't. Yes. Okay. Same line. So how? Data weapon dot W type ID. Let's put a breakpoint there and just see what happens. Maybe it's not initialized, I don't know. Oh, cool, didn't even land there. Because no, that's on the right place. Weapon type ID is not. Oh, I had to say, okay. I guess when you restart it, they re-enable or something. Okay, here we go. So data weapons, we have it there. Okay, that's good. So now, why the hell aren't you getting any value from there? So, data weapon. Data weapon is null. How is it null? What is J? J is 0. Oh, right. Because, yeah, because obviously data weapons, the first element is null. So it's got to be +1. And I'd love to hear somebody explain to me from whoever is doing the coding for this now, why in the fark there has to be nulls on element 0 for these damn lists. That's the other very annoying thing about this. Okay, 120. Oh, one other thing that, oh, the slot's okay. It's just, so wait, equips J. So that's interesting. So the initial equip they're putting into here is on J. And that's supposed to be the item ID. But that's going to be 0. So maybe it's initializing these to null at the beginning and then initializing to the proper values after. Again, that's just, it blows my mind that they do that because it's so unnecessary and screws up everything when you're trying to do things like this. Because then you have to handle if there's not a negative, you have to handle null values and such. Oh, hell. Okay. That would have worked if not for the fact that we were checking for nulls. But actually, this is a good thing because now we don't even need that check because I was going to pull the right thing. So that's a good thing. I tried to change the code in the console again. Alright, so now cannot read properly, apply when defined. What's going on there? So, game instance weapon initialized. So, what? Game instance weapon is undefined. Because. Okay, so let's go back to our. So I'm thinking when we're actually doing the actual initialization on the weapons, it passes through different IDs, maybe. So let's go ahead and add that code back in. Because I don't think at this point game weapons has been initialized or something. Which is weird because it should have been technically. But we'll return this back to J for now. Or actually, it's calling equips J. So let's do that instead. So that'll get us the value from in there. But at the same time, this is still not going to work because for whatever reason, our game instance, maybe we have to say new game instance weapon. Let's see how many ways we can just bork this thing. And damn. My mouse should like shock me with 10,000 volts every time I try to change something in the bloody console. Okay, so instead of doing this, it's going to be equips. And then we said try new to try and create a new instance of game instance weapon. I'm not sure if that'll work or not, but we will find out. Item.object is not a function. Well, we got past that part and hit another thing. So what is this at? Game actor equips. Item.object is not a function. Because in this instance, item is a game instance weapon object. So what is object anyway? What is this on? Objects 3600. Might be something we have to replicate in game instance weapon. 3600. Okay, so it's returning this. So wait. Oh, game item. Right. So we should probably put one of these into... Should probably put this down here into this. Obviously, so data weapons return this item ID. And that's being called from this on equips. So we are returning the game data weapons. So where did that get called from? Oh, we're not paused, so it's not going to show it. Okay, where is this calling from? So equips, traits. Oh, this whole thing. Scam actors equips, calling from all trait objects. So I guess we need to alias this if we haven't already. Or override it, I should say. Scam actor equips. So return item object. Is this based off anything, or it's just... No, it's just its own thing, isn't it? I didn't like initialize it based off of object or anything. Oh no, I did, yeah, an object. So maybe we could pass it back through here. Because we're returning item.object. Object is returning the type, the actual thing from the... so actually, is this setting the traits? So release init equips, release unequipable items. So we're going equip slots, trade on with party, then set object, equip slots. Okay, yeah, so we're checking to see if it's a dual wield. Which is calling up this huge tree of things that we were dealing with a while ago, and then I gave up trying to deal with. So trait slot type, game battler base. Traits.code, reduce. All traits, filter function. Trait objects, arcing.cat object.traits, trait objects. Calls equips, which calls equips.map function. Rather filter function item, looping through items and then returning, or calling item object. which is throwing that error. Item.object is not a function. What's interesting though is it actually looks like it's passing through. So it's not passing through anything, we're just going through equips